Like, if you were to do a story of Mandalorian and never include anything with regards to the Clone Wars or any reference to that, I don't think people are going to be upset by that if you're telling them a great Star Wars story, because the Clone Wars already happened. It's not, it's done. It's in the past. We already have the cartoon that depicts that journey. We don't need to recycle it again. Let's keep going forward in this timeline, unless you can come up with a really clever angle that has never been done before with the Clone Wars. And sadly, this team that we have working on these shows is not doing that. They're just kind of churning out the same stuff over and over. And there's no greater example to them not kind of getting the characters than when they reintroduce Luke Skywalker, and it's almost a shot for shot recreation of the ending of Rogue One with Vader slaughtering the rebels. It's like, that doesn't seem like Jedi behavior. And why is Luke so stoic? He's not a stoic guy. He's full of life and love, and when he's trying to intimidate, he gets a little soft and confident, especially when he's talking to Jabba the Hutt via hologram and in person. But overall, if he's doing a rescue and he's meeting people, like you think he'd be more like Luke Skywalker when he rescued Princess Leia. Be, hey, I'm here to get you. I'm happy you're still alive. Very relieved. Let's go. But no, he's like silent.
Yeah, it's like they took the moment where he's almost fully turned to the dark side, and he's chopping the hand off off of Vader, and they took that, and that's like, that's the Luke that we want to have, instead of or even the Luke that's kind of more poignant, I guess, after that, because he's like grieving, but he's also like joyful that they won, but he's kind of reflective at the end of Return of the Jedi, before he joins in on the party with Han and Leia and Chewbacca and everything. They took that, like, they tried to take that poignant thing where they applied the whole idea that this Jedi have to be these like stoic monks that are always extremely disciplined and everything like that. And that's not to say you can't be joyous and disciplined. If you know any kind of like Catholic priest or anything like that, they have like this inner joy to them, but they still can be very disciplined people.
It's striking a balance.
Yeah, it's striking that balance, or and I agree with you. The Luke that we see at the end of Mando season 2, we like seeing him, like you like seeing him kind of do the Jedi stuff, but the way that he engages with Mando and Grogu is kind of odd. He's not like joyful or happy or like, oh, I'm so glad to see you. I can't, like, you must have been one of the people that Ahsoka told me about, or something like that. If you want to like have like that, like Ahsoka had talked to him or whatever, and you can figure that out, and he's just happy to see this guy, and like, I know that like you were one of the people that was a victim of my father when he fell to the dark side. I'm so glad that you're survived, and I know another of your race. Like, let me tell you about him, or something like that. He would be much more opening, welcoming, happy, like, and he shows that on his face rather than that kind of like solemn thing. I think that might have to do more with the de-aging, maybe too.
Oh, definitely. But I think it comes back to the weird aspect that some of the writers, when they get a hold of Star Wars, they're like, well, what's the inspirations that George Lucas drew from? Oh, he drew from monks, Tibetan monks. Well, what are they like? So that's what the Jedi have to be like.
Yeah.
So, no, not necessarily. I mean, they listen, there may be some overlap, but let the character be the character, and balance it out with that mentality if you want to go there, or that influence. Because like even the Jedi Oath, which seems very anti-Jedi, it seems almost like robotic, because it's like there's only the Force, like there's no passion, there's whatever, and all that stuff. It's like everything that makes life valuable, they reject, it seems like, in that oath. Yet it's part of canon and it's part of Star Wars. And
so the oath is kind of weird, because like Yoda obviously the first time we meet Yoda, he's pulling a prank on Luke
to test him.
To test him, and he's still kind of like full of life though, and he's just messing around with him, and he's having fun with him before he obviously like obviously get serious.
But when he becomes a teacher, he's not a reserved, passive, stoic, like distant teacher. He's very engaged in Luke. And it's like, well, okay, that's a cool personality to still have. It's very different than how we first introduced him in his pranking part, but you can see that there's something more there. to him. And then when Luke is about to go, he's like, Luke, please, I'm urging you, don't go. Like there's passion behind that. There's urgency, there's respect, there's a little bit of love there. He's like, I'm trying to give you the benefit of my wisdom that if you leave and you try to help your friends, you might have ended up making their entire fight up to this point meaningless. And that would be detrimental. So I mean, like he's playing the devil's advocate to a degree.
And you find out in return that was out of love. He didn't want Luke to confront Vader so soon because he didn't think he was ready. And the events of Empire proved that he was not ready to confront Vader as he loses his arm. Han Solo is frozen in carbonite. And it's a very huge loss to Luke personally, to the rebellion at large. They lose one of their top generals. The hero of Yavin 4 is maimed by the arch enemy.
Yeah.
So
the thing that's kind of interesting is that a lot of fans, and you get this in movies and whatnot and essays, say that Empire Strikes Back ends on such a dour note. But I'm like, wait a minute. What's the last thing we see Luke doing? He's talking to Lando, says, we're going to go get Han back. We're with the rebellion. We're going to continue. It's like, that's not dour. That's hopeful. That's like, even in defeat, they're still going to persevere. And I'm thinking that's a happy ending. Sure, it has a lot of tragic points that lead up to it, but the mere fact that the characters are saying, nope, we're persevering. We're not going to, lick our wounds and huddle out here for the unforeseen future. It's like, we're getting back in there. Lando and Chewie are going to Tatooine to get Han Solo, and we're going to come in there for support to complete that mission. Like that's a cool, positive ending. That's a hopeful ending in my book.
And it's him looking out into the stars too with Leia. Like we're gonna get him. Like there's no question about it.
Yeah. It may take forever, but we're eventually going to save this galaxy, which we were looking at, because that's what they are. They're outside of the very galaxy that they're from. And
right. Complete opposite of Bo-Katan.
Yes, exactly. Complete, no dwelling on that point. Luke gets a new hand. He's like, okay, we're getting back to work. And in fact, it's not